what's up, friends and foes? Welcome back to the Suplexes and Stuff podcast. I apologize for the lack of uploads, but shit happens, and I am really bad at being consistent with my uploads. But as per usual, I do promise to do better on that. I'm going to upload more frequently, but yeah, I have 2 weeks of wrestling intake to keep you guys up to date with. That would be the week of the Royal Rumble and the week after. Plus, I want to catch you up on TNA Hard to Kill. I couldn't let that one go. But first off and foremost, I want to cover some local independent wrestling stuff coming up. And I do want to cover some big wrestling news that's still fit to cover between last recording and now. But first and foremost, I'm going to jump into some local independent wrestling news. Because shout out to WNEP, like they say, good things are happening here. We got 5-Star Wrestling Ignition 3 at the Pajama Factory, Saturday, March 2nd at 7 p.m. Some of the matches already announced are Dio Bando versus Fletcher Young, the Brothers Gray versus Post Game versus Nice and Smooth, the Closer, Joey Martinez versus Chris Slade, Keo Vando versus Cristiano Argento, hope I didn't butcher that one, Cristiano Argento, the former Mambo Italiano. I'm really excited to see that one. And Cheeseburger versus Rayo. Really good matches. There's not a one on there I wouldn't want to see. All of those matches are something that I would put together myself to go and see. Like that's a really good card. March 2nd at the Pajama Factory, 5-Star Wrestling, and don't forget that they're going to be up in New Jersey at the Monster Factory for We Are 5-Star, April 4th at 8 p.m. And they're going to be doing a bus trip up there from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, if everything works right and they get enough people. But all the information of that is on their social media. You can check them out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Then they're going to be back in May in Williamsport for Rise of the Skywalkers. That's going to be, I do believe, on May 4th. But before that happens, in Muncie, Pennsylvania, we got Smashmaster Wrestling, the Barnyard Bash. That's going to be an all-ages event with a 21 to drink stuff going on there with drinks from the Bullfrog Brewery and food from the Susquehanna Mills on April 28th. Admission is $20. Can't wait to see those guys do their thing in our area. They got a really good roster of people. They got some really good matches, and all of their stuff, just as well as the 5-Star stuff, is available on YouTube. They both got some really awesome stuff on there. You really should check them out. Smash Wrestler's been doing that thing on YouTube for well over a year now. And then 5-Star Wrestling has their Ignition tapings at the Pajama Factory, and they have a schedule of every Thursday at 7 p.m. on YouTube. There's going to be Ignition. So that's really good stuff. Go check that out. Free on YouTube, both of those guys. Local wrestling, Lycoming County. Love to see it. Hope everybody gets along, none of that nonsense, but local wrestling is alive and well and thriving in Lycoming County. So, with that being said, we'll move on to the bigger news. I guess the first thing I'd want to say, would address on bigger news would be the firing of Scott D'Amore. I really don't know what was going on there. Everything was going on the rails with TNA, and everything was looking really, really good for them with the rebrand, and everything was moving full steam ahead, moving forward with all that stuff, and then it kind of seems like they cut the heart out right at the thing. I don't want to spend too much time, just like I don't want to spend too much time dwelling on the negative stuff, but that was one of the silliest things that had happened. I don't know what's going on there. I hope that they are able to fix that or do something there. I don't know if he's going to be on screen at all or what. I mean, if he just moved away from the position or yeah. But that was just one of those things that took us all by surprise. And then I'm not going to cover the allegations with WWE going on, but that's all been in the news. I'm sure you've all seen the horrendous shit that has been going on there. All I can say about that is, Jesus. All I can say about that is it's a black eye, and that kind of stuff continues to happen, and it sucks. But moving forward on the news, one of the things I did want to talk about is the big press conference, the big press conference for WrestleMania. See, I mistook Royal Rumble and said WrestleMania earlier. Now I was going to talk about WrestleMania and wanted to say Royal Rumble, but yeah, the big press conference for the WrestleMania coming up in Philadelphia, big WrestleMania XL. We seen a Seth Rollins. I just don't understand. I mean, you want to put the World Heavyweight title, in the picture, but it just seemed a little goofy to have Seth stand there. But the whole confrontation between Cody Rhodes and The Rock and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns come out. He said he chooses The Rock because Cody was pussyfooting around and said, if you're not going to choose, I'm going to choose for you. Whatever. But yeah, then they showed the big family tree. Most of you have already seen this. Most of you have already, discussed this. The hearts out, hearts content, whatever. I'm just giving my 2 takes on it, my 2 cents on this, my take on it. Excuse me. Yeah, you had the big confrontation there, and basically, the only thing I wanted to mention was you had a bunch of swearing and stuff. It was pretty cool. It looked like a more of a real look into stuff as opposed to something that's completely, totally fake. But you did have CM Punk referencing the punch in the face a couple different times. But I thought that was kind of funny. Whatever. Am I a bad person for that one? I don't know. But yeah, what I was saying was you had Cody come out. He said, you don't make the choice here. I won the Royal Rumble. I choose who I'm going to face at WrestleMania, and I choose you, Roman. And Roman does what Roman does, and shot him down and on the microphone and cut a promo. And then, Cody had responded and said, your grandfather would be ashamed of the stuff that you've been doing, and looked at The Rock. Looked at Roman, your grandfather, then looked at The Rock and said, your father, your grandfather, your father. And then The Rock's like, when you talk about his family, you talk about my family. When you talk about my blood, you talk about when you're talking his blood, you're talking my blood. And it's just like, well, no shit. He looked at Roman and said, and then looked at you and said, yeah, you're. So it's like, yeah, that's he intended on that. I don't think he had said, I showed no disrespect towards your family. I just said, with all the stuff that you've done in your title reign, he'd be disappointed in you, ashamed, yeah, whatever. I mean, yeah, longest reign or whatever, but he's obviously cheating most of the matches, but we will digest on that, yeah. But that's my theory on that, is that Roman is definitely going to win either way. He always was going to win either way at Royal Rumble. I mean, see, there we go again. At WrestleMania, I don't think that Roman is going to have any chance of losing, at least until past SummerSlam of this year. But I could be wrong, and usually am. So we will see about that. But with that being said, let's jump into the main meat of it. Let's just jump right into it. So what do you want to talk about? I want to talk about TNA Hard to Kill from January 13th, 2024 right now. I know it's a day late and $1 short, but I could not let this pass without talking about TNA's first pay-per-view of the year. TNA's first pay-per-view is branded TNA. Let's get into it. Let's go. We had Steve Maclin defeating Rich Swann in the pre-show. We had Eddie Edwards defeating Brian Myers. Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers defeating Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian in the pre-show. Crazy Steve defeated Tommy Dreamer for the Digital Media Championship title. Then to open her up, we had the Women's Ultimate X, and Giselle Shaw won the Women's Ultimate X match. It was awesome to see that. Really cool stuff. The Women's Ultimate X. I don't know if I'm pretty sure it was the first Women's Ultimate X too. Not super on my TNA history, but pretty sure that was the first ever Women's Ultimate X match, and it was fantastic stuff. Just as good as the men's stuff. Some really cool stuff in that stuff. I couldn't go over everything and give you every spot, but you gotta go back and watch that one. We then had PCO, Jake Something, and Rhino defeating Oleg Prudius, Dango, and Bravo. This was a 6 for me. We had Decay defeating MK Ultra. Decay is TNA. Rosemary had a cool zombie spot with Killer Kelly. Havoc kicked out of the Masha's Snowplow at 1. And Decay wins with an awesome double team. With their awesome double team finisher. This was a 7 for me. Not too detailed on this stuff because, like I said, we're pretty far removed from it, so I'm not going to sit here and give you the dripping sponge on this one. Just want to give you the straight up cut. Chris Sabin defeats Kushida and Vikingo at an 8.5 for me. Chris Sabin deals out moves to both of the opponents, while Kushida had a Vikingo in a hoverboard lock. Then Vikingo hits a springboard 450 to the ramp. Chris Sabin also executes a top rope stomp to Kushida. Sabin hits a springboard Canadian Destroyer to Vikingo, and Sabin wins with his Cradle Shock DDT. I like this one. We then seen Josh Alexander defeat the debuting and hopefully to return to TNA Alexander Hammerstone. This was a 10 for me. Hammerstone throws Alexander around with ease like nobody else. Josh hits a rolling senton to Alexander's knee and an ankle lock. Hammerstone hits a spinning press slam, hits a locks like a catch-as-can style ankle lock on him. Then Hammerstone hits Nightmare Pendulum and 2 suplexes and a sit-out powerbomb, and then he does pick up the win with a C4 spike. So, like I said, this was a fantastic, outstanding match. You got to go back and watch it. We then seen ABC defeat the Grizzled Young Veterans, the Rascals, and Laredo Kid and Speedball Mike Bailey for a 9 for me. We've seen Jordynne Grace defeat Trinity for an 8. We've seen Moose defeat Alex Shelley for a 9. All in all, TNA Hard to Kill for me was an 8. Now we're going to cover the Royal Rumble. This was a real quick 4-match card. Real cool stuff. First and foremost, up front, we had Bayley winning the Women's Royal Rumble. plenty of surprises in there. The debut of Jade Cargill, the return of Trinity. We seen the TNA Women's Champion Jordynne Grace. This was incredible to me. This was a 10 for me. It couldn't have gone any better with all the surprises. Jordynne Grace, Bayley winning. That was my perfect Women's Royal Rumble. Then we move on to the complete opposite in Logan Paul when he defeated Kevin Owens. But this match was really good, and it still gets an 8 out of me. Roman Reigns defeats LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton. Classic 4-way stuff. Something you'd see on a big main event of SmackDown, in my opinion. Excellent stuff, but nothing to write home about. It's a 7 out of me. Then we had Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble. This was the right win here, but the obvious, it was the right choice, but it was very obvious. I can't take too much away from it just because of that, but it was one of those things where you knew going into it months ahead of time what was going to happen, and it played out in favor of that, to where there wasn't too many surprises. Andrade was a surprise. Could have been a couple more, maybe a legend, but it felt like, if you're going to pick a sliding scale and you had to pick one or the other, definitely more of the attributes were laid onto the women's side of the Royal Rumble, which, hey, I like. You can't fault that, but it just felt like as far as surprises and cool spots and things going on in the match and just things of that nature, just felt a little flat for the match. No real excitement. It does get a 6 out of me. Royal Rumble, all in all, does get a 7.5 out of me. We will be covering the first week out of 2 right now, when we call Raw from January 29th, 2024 to the stand for Judgment, when we say the Judgment Day defeats DIY, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark defeat Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, Jey Uso defeats Bronson Reed, Gunther defeats Kofi Kingston, the Kabuki Warriors defeat Natalya and Tegan Nox, and Drew McIntyre defeats Sami Zayn. Moving on to NXT from the 30th of January, Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams defeat LWO, Roxanne Perez defeats Tatum Paxley, Lola Vice defeats Elektra Lopez, Lexis King defeats Ridge Holland, Ariana Grace defeats Fallon Henley, Noam Dar defeats Von Wagner, and we move on to Dynamite from the 31st of January. Jon Moxley defeats Jeff Hardy, Hangman Page defeats Toa Leona, Wardlow defeats Commander, Chris Jericho defeats Kyle Fletcher, Deonna Purrazzo defeats Taya Valkyrie, Swerve Strickland defeats Rob Van Dam. This was one of those matches where one of those shows. One of the things I wanted to cover for the show was that Hangman Page, his match was chosen for him by Swerve Strickland. He goes up against Toa Leona. The rules were lax or whatever because of the this was a dream match, they said. Then Swerve's opponent was then chosen for him by Hangman Adam Page, which he then reveals that not only was you able to choose the opponent in that match for each other, but they could have also chosen the stipulation, which Swerve evidently didn't, but still worked out the same way either way. But he'd revealed that. and then they were going to have a match in Dynamite. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that the rivalry between the two of them, Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You know me, the king of professionals. Let's see. Swerve Strickland defeated RVD. Now we move on to TNA from the 1st of 24. The 1st of February, when Nick Nemeth defeated Trey Miguel. Excellent. Sensational, as my man on TikTok would say. Decay defeated Mila Moore and Savannah. Thorne. Brian Myers defeated Kevin Knight. PCO defeated Diener. Masha Slamovich defeated Jody Threat. And the Grizzled Young Veterans defeated ABC. And we move on to Ring of Honor from the 1st of February, when the Spanish Announce Project defeated the Russell Twins. Nyla Rose defeated Amy Camacho. The Iron Savages defeated John Cruz, KM, and Braxton Hunter. Dalton Castle defeated Aaron Solo. The Undisputed Kingdom defeated Fred Rosser and Tom Lawler. Ethan Page defeated Slim J. Billy Starks defeated Killer Kate. The Righteous defeated the Infantry. Queen Aminata defeated Riza Clark. Bad Dude Tito defeated Gringo Loco. Red Velvet defeated Kira Hogan and Diamante and Trishadora. Lee Johnson defeated Blake Christian, Alex Zane, and Jack Cartwheel. We move on to SmackDown from February 2nd. Kevin Owens defeated Austin Theory. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate defeat Legado del Fantasma, LWO, and Pretty Deadly. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits come to a no contest with the Final Testament. Tiffany Stratton defeated Maya Yim. And then we had that big Cody and The Rock schmaz before the press conference, where it seemed like Cody wasn't going to choose Roman for WrestleMania, and then The Rock come out. It seemed like Cody was giving him up the main event. That whole situation, that was when that whole promo happened. From Rampage, February 2nd, Top Flight defeated Private Party. Billy Starks and hold up. Top Flight defeated Private Party, Big Bill, and Ricky Starks. Nope. See, we are the kings of professionalism here at Suplexes and Stuff. Rampage, February 2nd, 2024. Let's try it again. Top Flight defeat the Private Party. Big Bill and Ricky Starks defeat Dark Order. Willow Nightingale with Chris Statlander defeats Queen Aminata. Mascara Dorado, Velado Jr., and Hechicero and Mystico defeat Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, Christopher Daniels, and Matt Sydal. And we move on to Collision from February 3rd, 2024. Eddie Kingston defeats Brian Keith. And Brian Keith is all elite, and I am one happy camper. That is my favorite wrestler at the moment. Bryan Danielson defeats Hechicero. And this was excellent. Hook defeats the Outrunners. Serena Deeb defeats Queen Aminata. Red Velvet defeats Vert Vixen. FTR and Daniel Garcia defeat the Patriarchy. And we come to the end of the first out of 2 weeks. We go to a pick 6 for the week. You know the drill. Big up Bevo, you know the rules. We give you a man, woman, team, singles, multi, and promotion. First and foremost, we gotta stop saying first and foremost for everything. But the first award to be given is Man of the Week. Brian Keith. Woman of the Week, Bailey. We got the team of the week is Grizzled Young Veterans. Singles match of the week was Nick Namath versus Trey Miguel. The tag match of the week was the Grizzled Young Veterans TNA match. And the show of the week was Ring of Honor. Let's go right ahead and jump into the second week. We got Raw from February 5th, 2024. DIY defeats The New Day, the Creed Brothers, and Imperium. Becky Lynch defeated Shayna Baszler. The Viking Raiders defeated Alpha Academy. The Miz defeats JD McDonagh. The Kabuki Warriors defeated Caden Carter and Katana Chance. And we move on to NXT from February 6th, 2024. Nathan Frazier and Axiom defeated Malik Blade and Idris Enofe. This is a match that on paper looks like something that would be on like NXT Level Up, but it was an incredibly mind-blowing match between these guys, and the future of the NXT tag division is going to be hot with these guys on it. Lexis King defeated Riley Osborne. Roxanne Perez defeated Lola Vice. Metaphor defeated Fallon Henley and Ren Sinclair. Elo Dragunov defeated Dijak. We move on to Dynamite from February 7th, 2024. Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page come to a no contest time limit draw. Swerve Strickland asked for 5 more minutes. Hangman Adam Page says your goal was to beat me tonight, and you didn't. No, I will not give you 5 more minutes. So we come to another head at this rivalry, another notch in the belt. I can't wait to see where they're going to go in this rivalry next. I'm hoping that it's a 2 out of 3 man match, or at least like an Iron Man match, or maybe even a last man standing match. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that their last match was a last man standing match. Well, they could go down the Iron Man match route, but I would hope that they would do like a 2 out of 3 match, or 2 out of 3 falls, or whatever you want to call it, where each stipulation gets more increasingly difficult. That'd be pretty sweet. I forgot where I was at. Ah yes, Tony Storm defeats Red Velvet. The Blackpool Combat Club defeat Mascara Dorado, Hechicero, and Volador Jr. Let me reread that. Blackpool Combat Club defeat Mascara Dorado, Hechicero, and Volador Jr. Konosuke Takeshita defeats Chris Jericho. Sting and Darby Allin defeat Big Bill and Ricky Starks to become the AEW Tag Team Champions, and then they are absolutely murked by the kids, the EVPs from Cucamonga. The EVPs of AEW, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. Show some respect to the boys. And I forgot where I was at. It was the end of AEW's where it was at. I was dumbfounded and flabbergasted by the disrespect from the Wind and the AEW EVPs. We move on to TNA from February 8th, 2024, where Chris Sabin defeated John Skyler. Awesome stuff. Tasha Steelz defeats Xia Brookside. Zachary Wentz defeats Speedball Mike Bailey. Excellent stuff. But a sneak win there. Jordan Grace and Trinity defeat Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans, in which I'm pretty sure is was Trinity's last match. The one before that was hers last one, but this was the last recorded match because they do not do live, you know what I mean? So this was already pre-recorded. This was the last one recorded before her return to WWE. We seen Khan defeat Richard Adonis and Tori Gold, I do believe that were the names. We seen Josh Alexander defeat Alan Angels, and after that we seen Josh Alexander get popped by Simon Gotch. What a freaking world we live in. Ring of Honor, February 8th, 2024. The Workhorsemen defeat Mystico and Brillante. Ethan Page defeats Aaron Solo. Penta and Vikingo defeat John Cruz and KM. Billy Starks defeats Diamante. Billy Starks defeats Era Thorne. I do believe that was the name, the right first name. I have it sloppily written here, so I do apologize if I got that wrong or pronounced that wrong. We seen Diamante defeat Layla Hirsch, Kira Hogan, and Trish Adora. Then we seen the Infantry and the Iron Savages defeat Cole Carter, Griff Garrison, and the Shane Taylor Promotions. We seen Lee Johnson defeat Gravity. Commander defeats AR Fox, Willie Mack. Willie Mack, and then we seen we seen Taya Valkyrie defeat Killer Kate, and then we seen Commander defeat AR Fox and Willie Mack. And we move on to SmackDown from February 9th, 2024. You see, I'm in rare form and I'm very rusty. Drew McIntyre defeats AJ Styles at SmackDown. Bianca the Belair, oh my god. Bianca Belair defeats Maya Yim. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate defeat DIY. Randy Orton defeats Sami Zayn, and we move on to Rampage from February 9th, 2024. The Undisputed Kingdom defeat Chaos. Young Bucks defeat Mondo Rocks and Robbie Litt. Mystico defeats Matt Sydal. Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale defeat the Outcasts. We move on to Collision, the last match on this week, and you'll stop hearing me fumble here in a couple seconds. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. That was a pay-per-view. I think it still is. Premium live event. Collision, February 10th, 2024. Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli defeat Star Jr. and Esfinge. That was a name I definitely completely butchered. Esfinge? I'm gonna stop now. I apologize to I can't pronounce that one. Esfinge. I know I had it written down correctly, I just didn't know how to pronounce it at all. I don't even think I heard the announcers announce his name one time. Daniel Garcia defeats Shane Taylor. I'm all tongue-tied now. Brian Cage defeats the Outrunners by himself. Brody King defeats Mark Briscoe in a match in the ending where Julia Hart spiked Mark Briscoe in the head with a steel spike. Deonna Purrazzo defeats Kiera Hogan. Toni Storms defeats Queen Aminata. Orange Cassidy defeats Tomohiro Ishii. Good stuff. And with that being said, we are on Pick 6 of Week 2 and the end of the show. My Pick 6 is going to go like this. My Man of the Week, Cody Rhodes. Woman of the Week, Deonna Purrazzo. Team of the Week, of course it's gotta be Sting and Darby Allin. My Singles of the Week is going to be Speedball Mike Bailey versus Zachary Wentz. Tag of the Week is going to be DIY defeating New Day, Imperium, and the Creeds. Promotion of the week, NXT. We are at the end of the show. I appreciate your patronage. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, however it is you're doing. If you're watching on YouTube, I just want to say I've been proud to be doing this here for a very long time. Definitely at least close to a decade, if not more. Been doing this thing, whether it works, whether it don't, whether you want to work, whether you shoot, But yeah, I enjoy. It's been a hobby of mine to upload and do this kind of stuff on YouTube for a while. It was a priority of mine to make sure my podcast uploaded directly to YouTube when Google Podcasts came to an end. It was my number one priority to make sure my audio podcast would upload directly to YouTube. So I'm just tickled by YouTube, so that's my thing. I've always been a YouTube guy, so I'm very happy about that, going over to YouTube. So I mainly promote the YouTube side of things. I don't discredit my audio listeners, and I know that you guys are still there as well, and I appreciate you too. But I just did want to say that YouTube would be my main primary. Nothing's changing, but you can find me on YouTube now under Scoogalootsie. As you've known for the past couple of episodes, I've said that. But yeah, that's one of my main things. One of my main proud things for the podcast in the future is that I've done that. And I did it when it was a pain in the ass to do, all on mobile. So, but yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your patronage to Suplexes and Stuff. Share this out to the world. Get it out there. Let everybody know. Check out Suplexes and Stuff if you want some whatever this is. Thanks. Suplexes and Stuff, where legends collide. In the wrestling ring, we take you for a ride. Join us for the chaos, the suplexes, the stuff, because it's time for a podcast that's a diamond in the rough. Suplexes and Stuff is a podcasting pinnacle, where the reviews are for fun and usually not cynical.